Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be talking about the September Nintendo Direct. My co-host for this episode is my dear friend Sailence. His social media links are in the description of this video. Please smash that like button, subscribe if you're somebody new, and without further ado or any more waffling, let's get straight into the discussion. But moving on to the internet breaking showcase of today, definitely in terms of engagement and tweets, was this ridiculous Nintendo Direct, which was just, I mean, I was already annoyed that I wasn't available to watch it when it aired, but I did watch it later.
I had a lot of hopes, and pretty much none of them come true, to be honest.
Do you see, this is the problem, like, these so-called insiders and leakers, they need to stop putting this shit out because it gets people so hyped up, and then when it doesn't happen, they're like, oh, Nintendo, and it's like, why did you believe this shit in the first place? Like, it would have been great to have Wind Waker and Twilight Princess Switch ports. That would have been awesome. But I'm always like, until I hear it from Nintendo, I just temper my expectations because...
Yeah, I think because I'm so upset about the 35th anniversary for Zelda. I mean, the Game & Watch thing, it take it or leave it. But Mario got the full treatment, and I think so many people still want that. Which, fair enough. If it's not coming, it's not coming. I'm not too fast. I've got the GameCube with the HDMI, GC HD, so I can play it and it looks alright on my telly. But I would just love to whack in a Switch, go out and play.
Yeah. It's I temper my expectations unless I hear it from Nintendo. I'm not gonna listen to these leakers online or these insiders because most of the time they're wrong, and you just set yourself up for disappointment.
Well, they've been fucking wrong a few times now. And every time I've been like, it's got to be. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Kirby has had more love for its 30th anniversary, I think it is, 30th or 35th. Yeah. I mean, not knocking Kirby because Kirby is a fantastic franchise, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land was an absolutely brilliant game, but Kirby has had more love for this year's anniversary than Zelda has, technically, to be honest. You've had
the only thing I can think of is that this new Zelda must be almost breathtaking.
Yeah, because you notice in the trailer they've not actually shown. They've shown some very well curated clips, but they're not. They've given us the title now, which they said they didn't want to give because it gives a bit of the storyline away. And I think it's actually quite. I can understand now why they didn't want to air it live in the UK because of the title of the game, because obviously what's going on in our country at the moment. Yeah. So you can understand why they don't want something like that titled out there. But I think it's going to be so. When they actually show gameplay, it's going to be so just insane that they're holding on to that until closer, and now that they're giving themselves a release date of May, I suspect we'll get a nice March, maybe a February Direct, or maybe one closer to it in April just for Zelda. So
it would be nice, definitely.
But yeah, let's run through these Nintendo Direct games quickly because some we'll just skip over because there's a lot of stuff in there that I was just like, yeah, that's not for me. But the first 10 seconds, I was literally jumping up and down in the street, like, oh my god, it's Fire Emblem! I was so happy. This was my game. Like, I put in hours.
So yeah, man, I was literally. So I just got myself some lunch, sat down, and I was waiting. And then as soon as it clicked, I just saw. I was like, this is Fire Emblem. He's gonna lose his shit.
I literally just screamed out loud. I was like, oh my god, this is Fire Emblem, the long rumored Fire Emblem mainline game. Because Three Houses came out in 2019, I think. I think it was Three Houses. Let's have a quick look. I have to look it up now. Fire Emblem Three Houses came. Yeah, July 2019. So 3 years ago, um, we had Fire Emblem. Then we had Fire Emblem Three Hopes. Fire Emblem Wise Three Hopes in June of this year. So that was 3 years after. And now we've got this new game coming out 3 and a bit years later. But yeah, I put in some serious hours with Three Houses. So for me, I was just like, yes, any more Fire Emblem, we're good. Because I'm really getting back into my strategy and JRPGs now. So I'm really enjoying it. And
Good job.
it looks like they've had some serious polish on this game compared to Three Houses. It visually looks so much better than Three Houses, and I heard that as a rumor that they'd actually spent a lot more time to improve the graphics and stuff like that. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, you can visually see that this is much better than Three Houses, and then you can call that some of the classic heroes from the Fire Emblem franchises in this game. So yeah, that for me was just like, thank you. That's how you start a Nintendo Direct. I'm fucking hyped. Let's go. But yeah, love that. But yeah, what was next? Oh, It Takes Two was next, which actually won Game of the Year last year at the Game Awards.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I actually looked at the game. I actually didn't really know about the game. But I looked at it and I thought, do you know what? It looks quite interesting.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I do think I saw some limitations with the Switch's hardware, and
Oof. Yep.
I don't know how to put the Switch down. It's an amazing console for what it can do. Do you know what I mean? You can take it about. You can do what you can do. I mean, it can run games very, very well. But yeah, I did think that was stuttering a little bit, shall we say?
Oh yeah. I mean, the Switch is showing its age. I mean, we're talking about technology that was two years old or so when it was 1 or 2 years old when it was I think it was about 2 years old when it was released. So we're talking 8 years old now.
Yeah.
When it was released. So it's definitely showing its age. But if I remember correctly, this game even struggled on the base PS4 and Xbox One. So there's definitely some downgrades they've made to put it on the Switch. But it's supposed to be a phenomenal game, and requires to play with somebody else as well. So yeah, it was rumored to have come, but it was nice to see it confirmed in there. So I'd like to see how it actually plays.
Yeah,
and I think it has like
it could polish it even more.
Yeah, and I think it has a friendship pass, so you can play online for free with a friend of yours as well. So
yeah,
that's pretty good. Not a bad announcement. And then we had Fatal Frame, or Project Zero, as I believe as it's called in Japan, which I think was I think it's a Wii U game. It was originally a Wii U game, and you use like the Wii U gamepad to like take photos in the game to kill the ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah, the horror game. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't played the one that was remade for the Switch recently, but I might check this game out because it looks sufficiently creepy. It's not normally my cup of tea, but I might actually check it out. How about you? Is this your cup of tea?
Nah, nothing like that. So no, just no.
You're not gonna play this in the dark at 4 a.m.
No, definitely not.
Cool. And then we had the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion pass. Now I know you haven't picked this up yet, have you?
Start this. I've got it. I need to start it.
Oh mate, this game is it's too much, man. It's consuming whatever spare hours I have of my life. It is so good. It's so good. It's a long ass game now. I'm about 60 hours in. I'm only on chapter 5. But yeah, it's
How
pretty
many
good.
chapters are there?
I have no idea, but I know I'm not anywhere near the end. This is
That's
like
good,
100.
though. You get a lot for your money. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, this is like 150-hour plus game if you do it properly. So it's definitely going to be
cool. Okay.
busy. But yeah, it's good. It's I can't even begin to explain how good Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is. So good to see the second wave of DLC. Then we had some like SpongeBob SquarePants fitness box. Did you see? Hold on a minute. Like this is the bit I have to talk about. So when I saw fitness boxing, I was like, okay, that was cool. I remember buying that and playing it for a little while, and it was quite a good exercise. But I saw Fist of the North Star, and I got excited, thinking, oh shit, we're gonna get a Fist of the North Star game.
Exactly the same.
And then the starts doing aerobics, and I was like, what the is this bullshit?
That boxing needs to just fuck off and basically be a some DLC for Switch Sports.
I was like, you know what, this is some mad shit. But games like this do well in Japan actually because they're really into their sports and fitness games. So I got the sense that a lot of these games were tailored for Japan. The reason being is Tokyo Game Show is going on at the same time. So that's why I think the PlayStation Showcase and the Nintendo Direct have got very Japan-centric games. So there's a lot of JRPGs, a lot of farming sims, and stuff like that. So that's partially why we got a lot
Farming
of.
sims, a lot. Jesus.
Mate, I literally tweeted it. And I was like, either we missed the memo or someone at Nintendo really likes farming because fucking hell.
Jesus Christ.
But
I love
I,
how each one of them was like, so you can farm your own crops and look after your farm. But in this one, you're going to age. In this one, you're going to have a family. In this one, you're going to have to fight. It's just fucking.
but Harvestella does look good. I quite like that. They mentioned that in the last direct, so I'm looking forward to that. Then we had a game called Tunic, which I think was made by one person, if I remember correctly. I think there's one dude that actually made this game. So yeah, I mean it has sort of Zelda sort of esque looks to it, platformer sort of thing, but yeah, not my
What?
cup of tea.
I can't remember if I saw that.
It was the one with the fox walking around on like a little Zelda
Yeah,
Link's
it's
Awakening
meant
type
to be
thing.
based on the first type Zelda. It doesn't give you any information, does it?
Yeah,
Just the instructions, yeah. Do
yeah.
you know what?
So
Might be right.
yeah,
You might be right.
I think I was reading about it. I think there's one guy who actually made this game. So yeah, not my cup of tea. From what I've seen, it doesn't really pique my interest, so I kind of skip that. Have you played any of these front mission games? Because they look vaguely familiar, but I don't think I've played any of these games.
I've never played them, no.
Yeah, I might check them out, see if they're any good. But again, these weren't my cup of tea. And then we had Story of Seasons. Yeah, skipping that. Just like no, not for me. Splatfest for Splatoon 3. I'm not a huge Splatoon fan.
Have you played Splatoon?
I played Splatoon 1. I've still got that on my Wii. I played that quite a bit on my Wii, but I didn't play it extensively enough to kind of stick with it. I played a little bit of Splatoon 2, but I just never really got into those sort of shooter games like that. Like I play them for a while, then I lose interest and move on.
See, the
So
thing for me, I love Overwatch and stuff.
mm,
And I keep thinking to myself, should I give Splatoon a chance? Because I just
yeah,
didn't. Um,
yeah,
Obviously, going into Splatoon 3, I tried to do a bit of research and I actually watched a couple of beginner guide videos just to
yeah,
see what the gameplay's like. And it looks quite interesting. I think I will pick it up
yeah.
soon, mate, because I think hopefully it seems to be one of them franchises that still has a player base for quite some time.
Oh my gosh, Splatoon is ridiculously popular. Like it is one of Nintendo's biggest new IPs. Like that game
Yeah,
is ridiculous. Like the tournaments and the people who play. Like you can also, I don't know if you could probably set up like a Japanese account and then connect with the Japanese players. Like they go crazy for Splatoon in Japan. Like you saw those sales numbers for Splatoon in the first 3 days.
yeah,
Like the
yeah.
best-selling game in Japan ever. Like all platforms, not just the Switch. Best-selling game over a weekend in Japan ever. I mean, they go to concerts in Japan where they have the characters dressed up as squids and holograms, and they dance and shit to the weird squid language and stuff. So Splatoon is ridiculously popular. Like it's beyond popular. And this game sold nearly 4 million in 3 days. Um,
Jesus.
the original Splatoon sold, I think, 5 million, 4.95 or something like that. Splatoon 2 sold something like 13, 14 million on the Switch. So this game is going to hit at least 50 million, maybe plus if it keeps going at this rate. But yeah, it's. I guess if you like stuff like Overwatch, um, Paladins, I quite enjoy Paladins.
Yeah, I like
Stuff,
Paladins.
yeah, stuff like that is similar in some ways, but yeah, I think it's that type of thing. But if you get into it, you probably like it actually. I think because I know you like your shooters and stuff. So
Yeah, I might. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a go.
yeah, give it a chance and you'll see. Now this one
Yeah,
surprised me because I did not expect there to be a sequel, but Octopath Traveler 2 looks fucking amazing.
yeah. I
uh,
mean, I've never actually played it.
yeah,
But that art style just does it for me.
Beautiful. Oh, mate, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
You can get the demos that are still. I think the Octopath Traveler demo is still on the eShop, but then one of the more recent ones is called Triangle Strategy. Definitely check out the demo of that because that will give you an idea of what you'll get in Octopath Traveler, and then you can see if that's
Okay,
your
cool.
type of game. Like I played the first initial bit of Triangle Strategy, and I was like, "Oh, this game is fucking amazing." And then something else came along, and I was like, "Okay, I'll get back to that in a minute." And then Xenoblade came back, and I'm like, "I'm not playing anything else until Bayonetta comes out." But yeah, check out the demos for these HD 2D games. The music in it alone, visually, is
Yeah.
beautiful, but the music is just it's insane. They're very good games. And it's Square Enix doing something that is actually pretty good as opposed to a lot of the other stuff they've released recently, which hasn't been amazing. So then we had another farm game, then Theatrhythm, Mario plus Rabbids, Sparks of
That
Hope.
Theatrhythm. Was that the fucking music shit?
Yeah, that's
My God,
the
what the fuck is that?
these rhythm games. Some of them are quite popular. They had a Kingdom
I get
Hearts
it. It's
rhythm
like
game.
yeah, fucking that can piss off as well. Honestly, do you know what? I know there's an audience for it, but I just think to myself, they had the audacity to be like, you can buy extra songs that have been out for years, are probably on YouTube, you can listen to whenever, and that just fucking done me in. I was like, piss off for that. Sorry to just keep going on, but that's just
Nah, it's
not my thing.
it's perfectly understandable. It's not for everyone. It's kind of like the people who buy Just Dance every year and enjoy it. It's kind of like those sort of people like, okay, that's cool, that's your game, that's cool for you. But for me, I'm just like, why? But but that's why I like the Switch is that you've got such a varied taste of selection of games.
Yeah,
Everyone will
it's
find
definitely
something they
huge
like. Yeah,
diversity there, which is good.
everyone will find something they like. But yeah, I'm with you on the rhythm games. Like, no, I'm not interested in all that. It's like Dance Dance Revolution, but in your house.
Yeah, yeah, it's literally all like Guitar Hero and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's not for me.
exactly. But I know this is your absolute favorite game out of the direct, which was Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Just fucking. Do you know what? I don't. Do you know why I actually don't like that game? And I don't like the other one either. Is the character design.
Too cartoonish for you, or is it the Rabbids?
The Rabbids. I just can't stand them.
It's an acquired taste, I believe, for the Rabbids.
Because I tell you the truth, right? Mario and Luigi look great. They look fantastic. And at first, I was like, oh, it actually seems to play like an open world Mario game. From what I could gather from the gameplay, I don't know what the other ones like. I haven't really played it, but I just thought to myself. And then I see this fucking mutant rabbit looking bastard. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it just puts me off.
Yeah, it definitely took a lot of people by surprise when they first showed it because everyone was like, "What the fuck is this Mario game with the rabbits?" Because of course, rabbits is kind of like you either love it's like Marmite, you either love it or you hate it. Um, and I will admit when I first I was like, okay, this is a bit of a weird crossover. But then I played it and it was really good strategy game. It's like the old XCOM games. It was actually really good. And I kind of grew because the humor for the Rabbids is kind of similar to like the Minions. It's that kind of ridiculous over the top humor. Um, but yeah, it's not for everyone, but it looks great. Sort of expansion over the second one. So
Yeah.
I'll pick
I
it
mean,
up.
I'll watch some videos.
Yeah.
If you think it's good, then we'll talk about it, and then
Yeah.
I might change my mind. But for here and now,
Yeah.
the Rabbids look like shit.
But as with all Ubisoft games, if you give it a little while, it'll be reduced to like £10 anyway. So give it.
Yeah.
And then we had the N64 games, and I was like, "Fuck it!" Hell. Like, I think
Mate,
I was
no,
kind
no. This is where I got hyped. This is where I started losing my shit. I started shadowboxing.
I saw Pilot Wings. I was like, God, I have not played Pilot Wings in ages. Love it. And I was like, okay, the Mario Party games. I was like, okay, that's cool. And I was like, Excite Bike, yes, I'll have some of that. Fantastic games. And then the Pokemon's, I was like, seriously, Pokemon Stadium? I used to play the shit out of Pokemon Stadium.
The mini games are back. The fucking
Oh
mini
my
games.
gosh. And 1080 snowboarding. Oh my gosh. I used to love that game. Absolutely love that game. So I was almost struggling to figure out what other N64 games they would actually be able to bring to the platform, because even though N64 was a great machine, it did have limited amount of games that were released for the N64 in comparison to say other Nintendo systems. So
I don't
yeah.
know. There's quite a lot out there. I mean, there's a lot of bad ones.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, in terms of like, there were limited first party ones, especially like, there were, there's obviously the
Yeah,
Mario 64s and Ocarina of Times and the Pokemon stuff. But yeah, they're really, really stretching and scraping the barrel to kind of get these games out. But at least you've now got, I mean, they're doing one a month, which is not too bad. But in comparison to the deluge of SNES and NES games that we had, you can see the difference in terms of the content available. But yeah, I was hyped when I saw it. I was like, gosh, Pokemon Stadium, this brings back memories. So yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then I had another moment where I screamed out loud in the middle of the street when I saw
I think
Goldeneye. I was
I think everyone did. And with online play, I'm all for this.
mate,
Yeah,
this game literally was all we played at university, like in university halls. All we played was 4-player Goldeneye, split screen, and it was just like, this game was revolutionary. And this game came out, there was nothing like this game at all. I mean, you had stuff like Quake and Doom and stuff like that, but like 4 players split screen without having to go to a LAN party, like this game was just revolutionary when it came out. So, and it's been rumored for so long, and it was all talk about Microsoft was going to get a version as
yeah.
well and all the rest of that. And
Well,
but
they
yeah,
are.
so,
They're getting it, aren't they? As well.
yeah.
They are.
That's So their one is, I think it's going to be like 4K visuals, different
Yeah.
controls and stuff like that. Where I think the N64 Online one's just going to basically be a slightly remastered version of the N64 version, N64 one. So, but yeah, GoldenEye. Whew, yeah, it's interesting because you think about it. What is GoldenEye based on? It's basically fucking British agent. And versus like Moscow and Russia, and people are like, oh, they've cancelled Advance Wars because of the war in Ukraine, but now they're dropping GoldenEye on the N64 Online. So it's kind of like, world events do affect video games, but sometimes they just drop shit and they're like, we don't care. So, but
Well,
yeah,
the thing
Golden,
is, I mean, this game was made years ago, so
yeah,
it's. But no, I definitely got very hyped for that, and I was extremely happy to see Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2.
yeah. I can't even put into words the amount of time I spent in Pokemon Stadium playing that game. Like, it's just ridiculous the amount of stuff. Like when I look at my old drawer with my N64 games, I'm like, gosh, I remember putting in hours playing
Yeah,
that game.
yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, that was a nice surprise actually, because it'd been rumored for so long. It was a nice surprise to see
The
it.
N64 section certainly brung out for me. I was definitely that woke me up.
And then we had like a nice sort of sizzle reel of other stuff coming through. I'll skip all the stuff we're not interested in. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Wave 3. I haven't actually played any of these booster courses because I played myself to death on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So it's kind of like, it's
Yeah,
nice to
same
have,
here.
but
Yeah,
yeah, it's nice to have, but it's kind of like, there's America 8 Deluxe is cool. Like, I bought my copy. I'm one of the 50 million people who's bought it, so we're good. um,
to be fair though, I don't actually, whilst they're doing this, there doesn't. It might sound wrong to some people, but there doesn't really need to be another Mario Kart.
nah, they're not gonna do Mario Kart 9
No,
until this one stops selling. There's no way. This game is selling like 4 or 5 million copies every 3 months. They're not gonna stop. They're not gonna do a new
no,
one. It'd be
exactly that.
pointless. So yeah, but we're getting golf in Switch Sports, which I guess if you're into golf, that'll be fun for you. I know you
Did
like
that
your
got
Switch
put back?
Sports.
That was meant to come sooner, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's coming winter, which technically could
Yeah.
be um, December, January, or February, essentially. So that'll probably be
Yeah,
2023. I know you like your
yeah.
Switch
And then
sports, so golf
I
is
do
that your
like my
cup of
Switch
tea?
sports. I think I've got like 70 hours on it now.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I'll play it. Yeah, I'll play anything on there, mate. I enjoy anything apart from football. That's shite. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then they brought out Mr. Miyamoto, and I thought, oh god, like what is he gonna talk about? And then I saw Pikmin, and I got really excited because I thought, oh shit, they actually can talk about Pikmin 4. Like, are we getting it? Is it happening? Whatever. And then they started talking about Pikmin Bloom, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's this fucking mobile game made by the same people that did Pokemon Go. I
Oh,
was like,
but mate, I do not see the interest in Pikmin. I
do
don't
you know?
understand it. I don't know what it's about. Just look like fucking, I don't know,
Do you know what?
mutated sperm cells.
Do you know what it was when it first came out? It was so unique in the sense of you crash landed on this planet and you kind of meet and then train and work together with these little Pikmin sort of things. So it was so unique when it first came out, and then it kind of progressed from there. But after Pikmin 3, we'd been hearing about Pikmin 4 being in development for years. I think it's been like 9 years since they announced it. So it's quite nice to hear that it's actually coming. So that would be quite good
Well,
to see.
9 years and you got about a 10-second trailer.
Yeah, exactly. So he's not ready to share it. I think it's if they excuse the train going by there. Um, I think it's one of his pet projects, Miyamoto, and because he's obviously like part of the Nintendo family, he's a director and all the rest of it, and obviously
Yeah.
creative Mario and Zelda and other places. So if it's something that he wants, I doubt it's gonna be. I doubt they're gonna just push the franchise to the bin, but. Pikmin 3 Deluxe actually sold the best on the Switch. Actually, outsold the Wii U, and did really well. So it's still, I think it sold like 3 million or something. So it's still quite a decent seller for
Yeah, strong
um,
numbers for a shit game.
Nintendo. So, so yeah, so Pikmin 4 coming out 2023. I'm looking forward to that. Harvestella, I love it. I love it. It looks much better than when they showed it last time. I know it's not your cup of tea, sort of farming slash JRPG, but it looks fucking amazing, and it's another
So,
Square Enix game. So,
yeah, was this the one where they was hitting the rock in the trailer?
no, they were in a land basically that seems to be in this season called Quietus, like the season of death. So they're like in a
That's it. Yeah,
village
yeah, yeah,
initially,
yeah.
yeah. So it had like the
Out of all the
elements.
farming ones on this, that's
Yeah.
probably the
Okay.
most. Yeah,
Yeah, so you've got the fighting aspects of it, the adventure, and it's typical Square Enix JRPG type
yeah,
game with
yeah.
the farming elements to it. So life simulator, I think they call it. But there's a demo out later today, so it might be worth checking that out on the eShop. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That's quite good. Another trailer for Bayonetta. That game just looks every time they show it, it just looks better and better. Like
Yeah, I must admit, yeah, that got my attention.
it just looks it just looks so good. I don't know, like it's kind of like you're blinking, you miss it. But if you listen to the trailer, you hear the music playing in the background. That's one of the other things I really like about Bayonetta games is that the music they put in the games is just it's something so catchy. You're singing along to it, and it's just
Yeah,
so good.
yeah,
It's so good. I'm so getting 2 copies of this special edition of this game. Yeah, because listen, mate, like Bayonetta games since they've come onto Nintendo platforms, like you're never going to get them on any other platforms because Nintendo owns, essentially paid for the publishing for the game, so it's never going to appear on another platform. So yeah, I cannot wait for this game. Pretty good. I think it's coming out next month, so that's pretty good. What was next? Master Detective Archives Raincode, which is part of the Danganronpa series, which is like a murder mystery type thing. I quite like this. This
yeah.
is definitely
Fucking
up my alley of games. Probably not of yours.
nah, boring.
I'm definitely gonna check this one out. I'm hoping there's a demo, but yeah, that's definitely my cup of tea type games. And then just moved on to the bit where I just completely glossed over it because I was like, as soon as I saw Nintendo Switch cloud version, I was like, fuck this shit. I was like, peace
Yep,
out.
I knew as soon as it said cloud version, I thought, oh my god,
Yeah,
he's not going to be happy with that.
I
But to
was
be
like,
fair, to have a cloud version of such a graphic, almost a graphic intensive game for the Switch is a recipe for disaster, as far as I'm concerned.
I'd rather just they just didn't do it. To be honest,
Yeah, yeah,
I would
I
rather
quite
they
agree with
just
you.
did not. But if you can't visually run it on the Switch, even with the downgrades, just don't put it on there. I'm sorry. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, obviously, if you're in Japan where the internet is fantastic, then this will be fine. But for those of us, I mean, we live in modern United Kingdom, but where I live, the internet is so bad, or it's not decent enough. The upload, especially, is so shit. I use mobile broadband sometimes because that gives me a better upload and download than the physical connection to my house. And we're in 2022.
yeah,
I mean, I'm getting
yeah.
fiber later this year, but do you know what I'm saying? Unless you're living in a place where your internet is stable, decent upload and download, like shit. So
It's,
yeah,
yeah,
no,
it's no good for you.
yeah, I can't be dealing with cloud version. And then we moved on to this game that you were like, this game looks shit, but like the art style, which was seafood.
Yeah, um, yeah, fucking hell, man. Do you know what? I actually done some research on that. It's got really good reviews,
Yeah.
and I don't know how
Have you got Game Pass? You've got
because
Game Pass, haven't you?
yeah, yeah.
I think it's on Game. I think. Oh, hold on. No, actually, it was a. Oh no, it was a PlayStation exclusive. Sorry. I think it was. Let me just double check. I think it was a PlayStation exclusive. So I
I've
don't
got
know
my
whether it will
Xbox on
be
now. I
on.
can have a look.
Oh no, it was on PC. Yeah, so it was on
PC, oh,
PC.
okay.
You've got Steam there, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got Steam. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there'll be a demo on there. But I like the premise of it, where you basically go through the levels, and if you get defeated, you age, and then you can come back and play the game again. Um, but yeah, it got really good reviews. It sold really well in its first, I think, month or so. And yeah, I just didn't expect it to come to the Switch. So the art style is not for everybody, and I guess we'll see how the frame rate holds up on the Switch. But I might check it out. But I'm pretty sure you'll probably check out the next game, which is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. That looks fucking amazing.
This I didn't. I forgot about this on the PSP,
Yeah,
and seeing it on there again, I just
yeah. It
yes,
it
good
looks
stuff. Good
it
stuff.
looks amazing. I think this is gonna look spectacular on a Switch OLED or an OLED TV. Like, oh, this is just gonna be
Yeah, mate.
beautiful.
Quite agree. Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely on my list of things to get. Radiant Silvergun, got a classic sort of R-type looking game. Yeah, looks good, but
Was that
again, not
the
for me.
arcade shooter?
That was the arcade one, yeah.
Yeah, do you know? Yeah, I like that as well, mate. I was a very, very huge fan of an old Super Nintendo game called Strike Gunner,
Okay.
and I don't know if you ever played it before. And yeah, it gives me the same sort of vibes. I like games like
Mm,
that, to be honest.
yeah.
Action packed, high, very fast. Yeah,
Yeah, the shooters like that, like I used to play back in the day, were R-type. We used to play that on the SNES, but it
yeah.
was
R-Type was
such
very, very similar to Strike
yeah,
Gunner.
yeah, but
That
it
was
was
on the SNES.
yeah, that was the last. Those are probably the last type of games like that I used to play. Those sort of arcade shooters. It looks okay, but yeah, it didn't sell me as a must buy it. So maybe if it's on sale somewhere, I might pick it up. But yeah, it didn't kind of grab me out of the list of games. Tales of Symphonia Remastered. I think that was GameCube. I can't remember.
It was GameCube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it was actually very, very well received on GameCube. It done very
Hmm.
good. Graphically as well back then, it was almost ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Great,
I.
uh,
Yeah.
great game. Had a great following, but again, not my type of game.
Mm. I think this is going to be one of these ones where, because the GameCube version probably goes for some stupid price now.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so I suspect this is going to be one of these ones is to pick it up and just hold on to it because it will probably be worth a lot in about 10, 20 years time.
Well, to
If
tell you the truth, mate, like Paper Mario and Mario Party 3 and all the Mario Parties coming up,
yeah,
it's again another gateway to, the Paper Mario in good condition now can do upwards of £600.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely worth looking at. And then we got onto
Absolutely.
again Kirby getting more love. This is the third Kirby game this year, which is a
A side
remake
scroller as
of
well. Very,
of
very happy to see
Dreamland.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm definitely gonna pick this one. I love me some Kirby games because they're just
I think,
Kirby.
yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry. Go ahead.
I think we got very spoiled with Kirby. We got the. Oh, do you know what? I've forgotten the name of the latest one.
Forgotten Land.
Yeah, that was it. Forgotten Land, and that was actually graphically lovely looking game. Good fun, good mechanics, and to see this come as well. Yeah, I'm happy. You know, if you're a Kirby fan, you're doing all right.
Yeah, and I like Kirby games because you can just pick them up and play. They're fun. They're ridiculously cute, and they're just enjoyable games. There's no like stress or thing you're paying huge amounts of attention. Just pick it up, play,
That's it.
and
That
have
is
fun.
actually it. Yeah, you can pick it up, do a level, put it down, come back to it whenever you like. That's the beauty of it.
And then they ended the direct with just The Legend of Zelda, Take My Damn Money. Like
Yes.
it's now getting to the point where it's just like I don't care, just take my money. It's just I'm sorry. I mean, I know we discussed it earlier where you Breath of the Wild isn't your favorite Zelda game. You prefer the classic dungeons and things like that,
I
which a
do
lot.
because
Mm,
so for me, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, probably my favourite Zeldas. Wind Waker is up there as well. Um, it's hard, man. Twilight Princess as well, man. It's just great. But even Skyward Sword, all these titles, they all just like hold it in for me. And the remake of A Link to the Past, um, as well, was so enjoyable. But I like the old school formula. That's the thing. Breath of the Wild is graphically, I think, fantastic. I love the art style. Um, it's great to go exploring, but for me, the shrines were to a point where they got very tedious and boring, and the the dungeons I don't think were um, very challenging in the sense of like back in the day, Ocarina of Time. That you mentioned the water temple to any old school gamer or any, and they just almost still shudder. Oh, the water temple. Every fucking one forgot a certain key where you get to the door and it's still locked. You've got that end. You think yourself, shit. You've got to backtrack on yourself, and it just takes ages. Um, but with Breath of the Wild, I didn't really feel like there was puzzles, but they were just the shrines were just like mini games, and yeah, just great game. I've done it all once. I had to because I had to pay homage to it. I did enjoy it, but if I'm honest with you, I preferred the Skyward Sword remake.
Yeah, I mean that had vast improvements over the original. It just they didn't market that very well until towards the end of when it was coming out. It was kind of they announced it, but didn't like announce any of the upgrades that they'd done, and then they kind of did this sort of staggered releases where we've made it 60 frames per second. Oh, we've improved the textures here. Oh, we've done these quality of life improvements. Oh, we've changed the control system. So originally you controlled it with the Wii remote, but now we've got these two different control systems to make it easier. And it's like, well, why don't you just do that in one trailer and explain the benefits as to why
Yeah,
you've done
yeah.
this great remake? But that's your Nintendo marketing for you. But no, I hear what you're saying about Breath of the Wild because a lot of people were in those two camps at the beginning where there were those who were hungry for something different, who were like, okay, yeah, I like the dungeons. I go here, I collect this upgrade, I collect this item, and then I progress. And they were like, okay, I just wanted something different. Where those who were like the traditionalist Zeldas, who were like, I want my dungeons, I want my this, I want my that. So Breath of the Wild, whilst was good for them, they were like, I still miss my dungeons. The shrines don't really satisfy me the same way as dungeons. But for me, Breath of the Wild it just came at a time where it was just like, I found myself after like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask playing Zelda games but not completing them. The last one I completed properly was Wind Waker on the GameCube. Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess I never actually finished because I kind of got bored with them.
Okay, fair enough.
And I never got bored with Zelda games until Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. And I really enjoyed Skyward Sword. I was really into it. I loved the music in the game. I loved the whole, traversing from Skyloft up and down. But I just lost interest towards it. And then Breath of the Wild came along. And I swear to God, there were times when I literally just played this game for 12 hours straight. There were times I literally just, and it came at a time when I was traveling a lot on the train to work, and I kid you not, the amount of times I missed my stop because I was busy playing this game. And I'll play it on the train, I'll play it on the tube, I'll get to work, I'll play it on my lunch break. And I was just like, I was hooked on this game, and I don't think I'd played a game in so long that it just captured me because it was just so refreshing. So, like, seeing, and the fact that we're now getting these two games, it's very rarely we get sequels to Zelda games as well, because it's normally a brand new installment with a different story and the rest of it. But the fact we're getting a sequel to one of the, in my opinion, one of the best Zelda games ever made, up there with Ocarina of Time, and like Link to the Past as well. It's just I love it. But that initial reveal trailer that we had last year, where he kind of just jumped out, it kind of zoomed into him falling through the sky. I was like, oh my god, this game just looks amazing. But this latest sort of teaser trailer we got today, I was like you said earlier, there's going to be some gameplay mechanic in this game that they're not showing that is going to be so fucking out of this world that when this eventually comes, everyone's going to be like, this game is just... Yeah.
I do think that this sequel, they'll bring more dungeons back, to be honest. I'm kind of... See, for me, my perfect idea would be Breath of the Wild, but more like actual dungeons, because to be fair, what you were saying about Breath of the Wild is true. It's got different areas. It's got different, you can make your own food. It's very involved. I don't like the fact that certain weapons break. That didn't do it for me. But having said that, I do agree that weapons should break if they're from like an enemy as such. But when the Master Sword runs out of power and stuff like that, I was just like, what the fuck is that about? And the Hyrulean shield can break eventually. That's not really my cup of tea. Not really my idea. I don't know, just don't like it. But I'm not saying I didn't enjoy Breath of the Wild. I did enjoy it. I loved it. But then again, I think I'd have loved any Zelda game that was given to me, because I'd waited. I felt like it had been so long to wait for Breath of the Wild, Like from the moment we first saw the first trailer, where they was like, "Well, if you see something in the distance, you're gonna be able to run to it." Just filled me with like, this is amazing, and you can climb to it or whatever. It's like Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I agree with you. It's a great game, but it is certain things for me as a diehard, straight to the core Zelda fan. I liked the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Formula, and then you could argue the fact, well, it's not core because Zelda 1 is very much like, it doesn't tell you anything, etc. But I don't actually enjoy that Zelda, so I enjoy the more story-driven and type thing, which, Breath of the Wild does have a story. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I think less shrines. There was no heart pieces and stuff, which I don't know. How can you have a Zelda game you're not getting fucking heart pieces? Yeah, certain things, silly things that for me tainted it a bit, but not saying it was a bad game. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It's just not a game that got me to ever replay it from the beginning.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I understand that. And that's what I like about Breath of the Wild, is that whilst it may not be every Zelda fan's cup of tea, they do appreciate that it was just its impact was just undeniable. Like even if you just were like, oh, no, I like my dungeons, I like my traditional Zelda, you cannot take away from the fact of how impactful that game was. So
Absolutely, it was good
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
But yeah, that for me is going to be. I'm so glad they've dated it now. So that means they've got 8 more months to work on this game, and I think come March, April, we're going to get a Zelda focused direct that is just
Yeah.
going to blow everyone's minds. And then they're going to
I'm looking
announce
forward to
two
that.
things that are going to bankrupt people next year, and that is a Zelda themed Switch OLED and Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom special edition. That is going to be like, mate, I'm saving up my money now because that shit
It will
is
either,
going
I
to
think
be
it'll either
insane.
be another set of Joy Cons, possibly a Pro controller. I don't think they're going to do a Switch.
You don't think so? Because they're
No.
killing it with these theme switches at the moment.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, because right, they had the opportunity to do it with Skyward Sword, and they didn't. They just done Joy Cons. They had the opportunity to really do it with A Link to the Past. I mean, that could have worked. And they had, I know Breath of the Wild was kind of like a release title as such, but they could have done it then as well. They've already done it for Mario. They've already done it for all the others. So with how Nintendo works, you think they're going to do something, they don't bloody do it. If we see a limited edition OLED, it is going to go off. I admit that. But until I see it, I don't believe it.
Yeah, I think with Skyward Sword, I think because it was a HD remake, remaster, whatever you want to say, I think the Joy Cons, because we got Joy Cons and something else, didn't we, for Skyward Sword? Oh, Amiibo, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got the Amiibo. So I think for that, because it wasn't, it was one that, they'll put it out, it'll sell like 4 or 5 million copies. It sell better than the Wii U version or the Wii version, and they'll put it out. But I think because of just the sheer magnitude of Tears of the Kingdom, I think they're going to go all out on this. It's going to be, because this is, look, we'll be going into the 7th year of the Switch. It's going to be our Switch OLED. There's going to be Joy-Cons that come with it, and there's going to be a limited edition with, I mean, what did we have last time? We had the Master Sword statue thing.
Yeah.
And even now, if you try to buy that, that's like £700, several £100, should I say, brand new. If you try to buy that now. So I think they're going to go all out for this one because it's going to be a big bang. And I think, and I'm predicting, could be wrong, I reckon Wind Waker, Twilight Princess ports are probably going to come maybe a bit before, because they won't want to steal its thunder. So maybe in March you might get Wind Waker and Twilight Princess ports, or they'll do it like several months after it launches to kind of keep that Zelda momentum going. So it's weird. I think because they've done it in the middle of the year, they'll either put it before or after. And I know how much you were looking forward to those two announcements today. But that's the internet for you. Don't trust them.
Yeah. I mean, if it happens, it happens. At the end of the day, like I say, I've still got that chance. I've still got that. I still have them. I'm still able to play them. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, for me, I think it was a good direct. I think if we're going to give it a letter grade, I would give it a B plus. And if I was being super generous, I'll give it an A minus. But I think I'll stick with my B plus because it was good. But I think the one they had early in the year was better. Not the mini showcase, the one we had in, was it February or March of this year? That I think was significantly better than this one. It still had some great games in this and some great announcements. Like Fire Emblem definitely had me hyped.
yeah,
Goldeneye.
I think I was still raging at the February one for still no Zelda.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think a B plus is sufficient for this one. It was very, very good, but I think people needed to temper their expectations and not listen to this nonsense that leakers are putting out, because time and time again they've just been proven wrong. But yeah, for me it was a solid B plus. I would say it was a little bit better than the PlayStation Showcase, but both I think were fantastic for what they showed for today.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? I probably agree with that. I
Yeah,
wasn't. I was quite happy with what I saw. To be fair,
yeah,
and that latest trailer of the latest Zelda, yeah, got me hyped. Definitely looks good.
yeah. Great. Thank you for entertaining me and sharing your thoughts. And
No problem. Thank you
I
for having
will.
me.
That's all right.